Good morning. Happy December 7th to you. We have this week, and then we have one more week, and then we are off for about a month, actually 5 weeks, and we'll be coming back for spring. So I'm glad that I can spend some Christmas time with you, and I wish you all a happy Hanukkah today, although it's starting in a few days. But let's start with the calendar, okay? All right. Looking at the 7th of December, which is today, is Pearl Harbor Remembrance Day. And we are definitely going to pay some attention to what happened on that day. December 8th is National Brownie Day. And I'm hoping that your cook will give you some brownies to celebrate on the 8th. It's also the day that the inventor, Eli Whitney, was born in 1765. On December 9th, roller skating day. And boy, do we remember the good times with our roller skates. I bought my grandkids each a pair of roller skates, and they've enjoyed them so much. And also, I've taken them over to the Costa Mesa roller rink, which unfortunately is shut down right now with the COVID guidelines on. On the 10th is the Nobel Peace Prize Day, and they give out awards in 5 different areas, including chemistry and biology and sociology with peace, who's making efforts for peace. And there's ones for writers, and I think there's one for artists as well. Emily Dickinson, the famous poetess, was born on December 10th in 1830. And it's also Human Rights Day. In addition to all of that, on the 10th is when Hanukkah is going to start at sundown, as soon as the sun goes down for 8 days. And we'll talk about that. December 11th is National Noodle Day. So any kind of pasta that you like to eat, whether it's chicken fettuccine, beef stroganoff, spaghetti with meatballs, all those, mac and cheese, that's a big one with all the grandkids, I know. It is also the day, December 11th, that the Pilgrims landed on Plymouth Rock in 1620, 100 years to this day. Wow. And it was a cold day. They did get there pretty late in the year, didn't they? December 12th is when the golf tee was patented in 1899. So, for all of you golfers out there, I've heard that a lot of the golf courses are still open with certain COVID guidelines in place. You can always play indoor golf as well. Uh, Gingerbread House Day and Poinsettia Day are on December 12th. And that was the day in 1901 that Marconi's radio signal made it across the Atlantic in 1901. And also on the 13th, National Cocoa Day. So gingerbread houses, cocoa, poinsettia plants, all of these things are very important and recognized by us too. So that's a good thing. So let's head back to looking, first of all, a very serious, sober reminder of December 7th, today, Pearl Harbor Day. And for years after that attack on Pearl Harbor in Hawaii, the rallying cry that finally united all Americans around the World War II was, remember Pearl Harbor. And so many of us had uncles or aunts or in-laws who were stationed in Pearl Harbor and affected in one way or another by that attack. So what was it exactly? Well, we know it was a surprise military strike by the Imperial Japanese Navy Air Service against the United States naval base at Pearl Harbor in Honolulu. And that was when Hawaii was still a territory and not a state. And we also know now, since the papers have been released 75 years later, that FDR knew the attack was coming. He had a forewarning, but he chose not to stop it. I guess that he knew there were other things going to happen as well. And luckily, three of our battleships, huge carrier ships, were out to sea on maneuvers. That was the only part of the US naval fleet that did not get damaged. Why did the Japanese decide to do it? And they chose 8 a.m. on a Sunday morning when people were pretty much not at work and pretty much resting. Well, they did it for several reasons. First, they did it as a preventive action to keep the US Pacific Fleet from interfering with their planned military attacks around Southeast Asia and against overseas territories of Great Britain, the Netherlands, and the United States. So everybody knew that war was coming. They knew it was inevitable. They were also upset about the oil embargo put on them by the United States, and they were desperate for oil, especially as the months were getting colder. Doesn't excuse what they did, but we need to know why they did it. Well, when they were there, they went for more than 2 hours bombing everything in sight. There were 2,403 deaths of United States personnel, including 68 civilians. The Japanese Air Force destroyed or damaged 19 US Navy ships, 19, including 8 giant battleships. The next day, President Franklin Delano Roosevelt addressed Congress and said, "This is a day that will go down and live in infamy." And school children would memorize his speech. It was so powerful. It was also broadcast to the nation by radio. It took Congress less than an hour to decide and officially declare war on Japan. Also, 3 days later, because Germany and Italy took that opportunity to declare war on the United States, 3 days later, we declared war on Germany and Italy. So it was a tri-axis, three great enemies that we were against. It took us a while longer to finish converting to a war economy where people had to use ration cards for their butter and their sugar because so much had to go to the troops. And then metal things and rubber to make the equipment. And so many men were drafted or signed up. A lot of them signed up right away. As Americans, we fight for keeping our country free and keeping us America. And then we also did one thing. We sent the Japanese Americans, and there were some Germans and Italians, but there was a large group of Japanese Americans, many who were loyal to the United States, but because of their race, they were sent to internment camps for the duration of the war. And that is one thing that a lot of us don't agree with, but this is the way it was handled during the wartime. Then I want to thank Newsmax, which if you have cable TV, it's 204. As far as I know, they are the only channel that at this point has had a special program honoring the brave men and women of our military, and especially the Pearl Harbor Day people. They also do interviews with some of the people, some of the men still surviving, who give firsthand accounts of their experiences. If you get a chance to watch that, go to YouTube and watch the recording from Newsmax. They might play it again today as a repeat as well. Now, the other event that I wanted to really go over was Hanukkah. This is a Jewish holiday. I'm not Jewish, but I think it's good to salute and give recognition to those Americans who are. It is also called the Jewish Festival of Lights. It is a rededication of the second temple, and it begins this year on December 10th at sundown. Which is based on the lunar calendar. And with the lunar calendar, things can change. So Hanukkah can be celebrated anytime from early November until late December. The way just depends on the lunar calendar. The Jewish people have their own calendar as well. But it was an event that happened in the 160s BC. Hanukkah means dedication. And there were people who had overwhelmed the Jewish territories, and they had overwhelmed Israel, and they had desecrated the temple and tried to destroy it. Well, some brave Jewish people called the Zealots, they went in there and they tried to observe their regular feasts. And a priest didn't have any oil. Everything is scarce during wartime. So they did not have oil to light the candles. But somehow there was a container that had a little bit of oil. So they lit the candles that night, the first candle, and they lit the candles. And then the next day there was more oil, and it was a miracle. The oil kept coming back. And so they were able to keep the candles lit for 8 days and 8 nights as a symbol of the Jewish spirit. And so now the festival lasts 8 days and 8 nights. Now, this year, because of the COVID restrictions, there's been some real modifications. There are going to be drive-by menorah lightings. There's going to be home delivery of the food they like to eat, the latkes. And there's going to be virtual Hanukkah parties on Zoom. You can also pay a small amount of money and you can watch concerts on different internet places that are celebrating during the Hanukkah season. Each lit candle represents the miracle of oil. And this all goes back to the story, which is written in part of the Jewish Talmud, which is one of their sacred books. As the candle is lit, they recite prayers, and the family will do other things. They will retell the story of what happened. They play games with a little spinning top called the dreidel. And there's a song called Hey Dreidel Dreidel, and you sing it while the top is spinning. And then they give gifts to family members. So instead of a gift one day like Christmas or Christmas Eve, they give gifts each night for 8 nights. So the children are very happy about that. And what kind of food do they like to eat? Well, they enjoy food such as the shallow fried potato cake called latkes. They have cheese, they have pretzels, they have pancakes, they have deep fried donut balls coated in honey called lucamadas. And then Hanukkah this year will end December 18th, Friday evening at sundown. And so that's pretty much it. The miracle of lights during the darkest part of the year, and especially during this modern time. We want to remember more about that holiday. Next week, we'll be talking about Christmas customs and what happens with Christmas. So, the other thing I wanted to say was there's let's see if I can find it. Oh, yeah. My printer is down, so I have had to handwrite everything or put it on my mini iPad. Thank the Lord for good technology, right? So I can write some of these things and share them with you and do the best I can. So I talked about Hanukkah activities, and I talked about what happened with Pearl Harbor. And, I thought I had my Reader's Digest in here. If you take the Reader's Digest, be sure and look at the story on positive outcomes from the quarantine restrictions. There's a very, very interesting article in Reader's Digest about people growing closer to their families, being able to do a lot of homeschooling and help the kids as they're on their Zoom lessons on the computer. And the kids are certainly learning about technology and how to make slideshows and things like that. And excuse me, people who are exercising more, using home equipment since the gyms have been closed again, people doing more cooking, and of course, we're all gaining a little weight. It's a time of year for that. I remember a dietitian telling us in a class, if you can just maintain your weight, maybe not lose, but just maintain your weight, you are ahead of the game for holiday season. And then in January, you can get serious about going back on your diet. Because right now, guys, there's just too many good things to eat. So that's pretty much it for today. I hope that you are celebrating at your facility. And I'm celebrating that in England, they're already distributing the COVID-19 vaccines, and many people are starting to get them, and that the doctors are going to be getting them by the end of this week. A lot of the doctors in different places in the United States, and that we will know that the seniors in the facilities will be getting their vaccines if you choose to take one not too long after that. So we aren't going to have to be so afraid anymore. So keep walking, keep exercising, get your sunshine outdoor whenever you can, because the outdoor weather is healthy and good for you, and the vitamin D that you get from the sunshine. And I hope that you have a happy Hanukkah, and I salute those of you who are veterans. I am a veteran mother, the daughter of a World War II veteran, the widow of a Vietnam man. My husband died this last year. And also, I had 2 children in the Army and in the Navy, and some in-laws in there as well. So we are going to recognize the veterans and try to visit a few veteran homes over the holiday season and take them some nice homemade fleece blankets to keep them warm and to let them know that we love and honor all of our veterans. And God bless the USA. And I will see you this time next week. I'm so happy I have an opportunity to be with you. Bye, everybody. Merry Christmas.